To TREIA West. Just a couple announcements and we'll turn it on over to Roxana to get started. Up on this board meeting, we have board members, myself, Kathy Russell, Leslie Ortiz, and Jackie Richards. Upcoming this week, tomorrow, we have a really great TREIA 360. 360 is our new virtual series that will stay virtual even when we're back to online meetings. And tomorrow, is all about ways that you can do invest in real estate for 8 to 36% profit with very little to no risk. And you can do it from your computer without ever leaving the house if you want. You can also do it with in-person auctions, but that is tax lien certificates. We have the tax lien lady, and that's going to be great. TREIA 360 is our new series that brings you more non-traditional stuff that we don't usually do since we have this opportunity to be virtual. It's just a new series to try some different things and different ideas to build your portfolio. And then on Thursday, we have Wire, which this month has our own TREIA member, Ella Corbett, who's going to teach you how to stage a house for $1,000 or less. And she does a great job with staging, so that's going to be really cool as well. Only other announcements I think I have are, remember that since we're not able to meet in person, we're trying to provide you networking any way we can. A few things. We have a TREIA Facebook networking page. There's a lot going on there. If you haven't joined, please do so. Also, it's like you saw Melvin's member spotlight video a couple minutes ago. Make one of those. If you're a new member, old member, doesn't matter. Just tell us what you're looking for. If you want to partner up, if you're looking for a lender, if you're looking for a house, if you're looking for a roofer, just make a video.
Bless you.
Sorry, that was my
And again, bless you.
Get to know your TREIA member, your fellow TREIA members. Get involved, volunteer, make a spotlight video. Send us your suggestions to TREIAprojects@gmail.com. We have a lot of new stuff going on. If you want to be in our next pilot program class, send us an email. That's where you are a student in a class that actually buys a house and actually rehabs it and sells it. We just finished the first one. The closing on the sale is August 13th, so we're ready to, we have a waiting list of people who may be interested, but it's been a while, so if you're interested, sign up because we're ready to kick that off again.
Rock and roll.
We have a new legal series coming up that is almost complete. It was a Peter Chang suggestion, and we've got 4 out of 5 planned. We're finishing up, and that'll be announced really soon. That's all I can think of. Oh, also, I know we did a test at the main meeting last week of trying to do a little networking, and it worked. So we're going to start doing that. We need to get the word out better, but we'll do that. And we're going to start doing some who's got what before the meetings. You have to sign up in advance, and it'll be limited in number. You can make a slide to go with it or not, but keep it in mind if you got some who's got what. That's something new we're trying, and it worked out well. So, Jackie, Leslie, got anything?
I think you covered it.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, with that, we'll turn over to your fantabulous subgroup host, Roxana. Take it away, Roxana.
Welcome, you guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I am so excited to be on with you guys. Okay, I do have a special announcement to make. I will be 34 on Wednesday, so make sure you guys shout me out. Okay?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
So we're going to have some fun on tonight's Zoom meeting, mainly to drop those gems because it's all about sharing this wealth of knowledge with you guys. So I thought it would be a nice way to share and collaborate on how to get these people knocking at your door with these leads. With uncertain times like today, every corner you see these signs, depending on the area you're investing in, you always see these driving for dollar signs. So it becomes overwhelming, and it can be costly. Yeah, you can try to drop them off on the weekend. So it's like, now what? What's going on? And even if you do what we tell you to do, it's like, is we really following the regulations? Can we get in trouble? How do these leads work? That's exactly why I invited Steven. Steven is very knowledgeable about these leads. I recently shared a stage with him last month with Damian John. He's been into real estate. He's just not just a marketing expert related to just market in general. He actually invested into real estate as well. So without further ado, I would like to bring Stephen on now.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Thank you, Roxana, for the introduction, and ladies for having me here, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see. Okay, it's got a little presentation we're going to go over with everybody. We're going to focus on today a little data and marketing, highlighting the truth about data, some list pulling strategy, some marketing strategy, and if we have enough time, I'm definitely going to go over some compliance with you, some updates on different laws of the TCPA that's going on, and of course we'll fit in some questions for you at the end. Love taking your questions, so please throw them into the queue as you have them, and we will get them all answered. So a little bit about me first. Let's get this going here. About me, I have 20 plus years in sales and marketing. I started in real estate back in 2003. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have owned multiple high six-figure investment businesses, and I'm the owner and founder of Empower Solutions. I like to keep it quick and short when it's about me, so I want to keep the gems flowing to you guys. So any questions that you have about me otherwise, feel free to hit me up any point in time and I'll answer them to the best that I can. So let's start here. Once I move this little video thing out my way here. Okay, so the truth about that, fun fact number one is that 99% of all your lead list and skip tracing companies are resellers. That is a very important fact for you to understand as we dive in here with more information about data. Fact number two is that there are only 4 true real estate investment data companies. And we're talking about here for getting your leads list, lead data. One is Black Knight. The other is Atom Data. The third is CoreLogic, which you might be familiar with. They own ListSource. And the fourth one is my company, Empower Solutions. Now, fact number 3, when it comes to lead data, only 2 things matter. One is the coverage, the amount of data. Okay, the data company needs to have, if they only have one side of the street or half your city, getting data from them isn't going to be that good. You need to make sure that the company has the most data possible. And second part is the hygiene. And that's how often the data is updated. You gotta think about like your own personal hygiene. Imagine if you didn't take a shower or brush your teeth for a month or 3 months or 6 months. A lot of data companies don't update their data and it's old and it's stale. Just like you want to get a shower every day and brush your teeth every day, maybe multiple times, you want to have your data updated as regularly as possible as well. It's very, very important. A big part of that too, before I move on, is a lot of times you're going to see data in these software companies. You have a lot of different companies that are software companies and they do multiple different things. And inside of that, they also have leads that you can grab and maybe download X amount with your subscription. They are definitely a reseller. They're not a data company. They're grabbing that data from either one of the 4 companies mentioned or maybe a reseller in between that. And for that purpose, they do not update their leads that often. A lot of these companies grab it once a year, and then some of the leads will update every 6 months and some quarterly, with maybe the vacant list being updated once a month maybe. So that's just something you definitely want to keep in mind because data is the heart blood of your business. If you're getting bad data and you're marketing bad data, you're wasting money not only getting that data, you're wasting money skip tracing that data, then you're wasting your money in your marketing dollars as well. And of course, your time. So let's go into data append versus skip tracing. Some of you may have heard of data append, phone append, email append, and of course, you heard of skip tracing. So the difference here is that data append derives all the results from a fixed set of records. Normally, it is mortgage records that a company will gather, and it has these numbers associated with it. They don't update this information. It's just fixed numbers that they have, and they'll hold on to it for years. Okay, skip tracing is actually researching, is looking for the numbers in multiple different databases, and it's constantly being updated. Well, it depends on the skip trace company, how often they're updating their information. But normally it is way more often than anything that happens with a data append. So you want to be mindful of that. I know a lot of people, especially when you're new, they jump into looking for what's the cheapest way I can do things. You're trying to make success happen. You're trying to get deals, and your budget can be small. In data append, you can find cents from 3 cents to 5 cents a hit, and people will go for that. But then they're getting a 60% hit rate, which is like a little bit more than half the list. You're getting numbers for, and out of that, you're getting less than half of that will even be accurate. So you definitely want to make sure you're staying away from data append, and you're spending your money on skip tracing. Okay, so always be mindful, and don't be afraid. Whatever company that you're looking to use or you're even currently using, message them. Your list companies and also your skip tracing companies. Don't be afraid to ask them. How old is your data? How often are you updating it? Okay, what sources are you using to get your data? These are all great questions, and while you may not be able to get some of the answers may be proprietary, they should be able to give you some type of answer other than saying, oh, that's proprietary, which will allow you to determine if that's a company that you want to use, if their data is quality enough for you. So, a little fun fact here, I think it's important to realize. You're not just a real estate wholesaler or investor, you're an entrepreneur, and that's important. But I want to focus on the next level. You are a marketer and a salesperson. Okay, every entrepreneur, no matter what their niche is, I don't care if you're selling stuff on Amazon, if you are a bricklayer, if you're a handyman, if you're whoever, you do whatever you want, you're always going to be a salesman and a marketer, especially in real estate, especially when you're starting out. Eventually, you might be able to hire a team, hire people to replace you, but you're still a marketer and a salesperson even then when you're overseeing. Okay. In going into list point, it's all a numbers game. This is because it's sales. Okay. Sales is a numbers game. I want you to imagine being on a stage right now. Maybe you're at a convention, you're on a stage and you're speaking, and you have 5 people in the audience. Your goal is to sell something while you're on stage. If you have to sell something and you only have 5 people that could possibly buy from you, imagine how good of a salesperson you need to be to maybe just get 1 sale. Now imagine instead of 5 people, it's 50 people. Might be a little easier to get a sale now. Okay, 5,000 people, 50,000 people, 500,000 people. When you have enough people, you can stumble over your words, trip and fall down, forget your whole presentation, not even know the subject matter, and whatever you're selling, someone in the audience is going to need it, and they're going to be like, yeah, sure, I'll buy from you. Okay, I'll sign up. You're going to have someone else that's going to just like your personality. They're going to just like you for who you are. They're going to vibe with you, and they're like, I want to sign up with that person, and you're going to get that sale. Everybody in between, everybody else is going to take sales skills to be able to convince them, to convert them into a sale. Okay. So it is a numbers game, especially when you're new. When you're new, you don't have all the skills. You have to develop them. And the only way you're going to develop them is by doing it. Okay. So you want to make sure you're maximizing your opportunities with the best chance that you have. So it's always a numbers game. Second part I want to go in here with that is there are no magic fairy dust lists. So there's no, you're going to hear a lot of gurus, a lot of people talk about the idea of, oh, get this list, you're going to make you tons of deals off of it. Someone else says, oh no, this list is the hot list right now. You want to get that and you're going to get tons of deals off of it. There is no magical list. There is none whatsoever. Okay. Let me just dispel that myth right now. The secret sauce is list strategy. You need to get the largest amount of leads possible, but you need that made up with multiple small distress lists. To give you another analogy here, think if you think of being at a convention or at a concert, okay, and imagine, think about when you first bought your tickets and you're reviewing the pricing of where you could sit and what the prices were. The seats closest to the stage where someone's speaking at or they're performing at is going to be a small section there that costs the most amount of money. You're going to have a section behind that that's a little bit bigger, and so it'll cost a little bit more money. And another section behind that, it's a little bit bigger, okay, and it costs a little less. I'm sorry, the first one, the smallest one, costs more, and each one gets a little bit bigger and it costs a little bit less until you get back to your general audience, the nosebleeds, that are, you know, just the cheapest and it actually has the most leads, the most people there. Convert this analogy over to real estate and leads list. Your most distressed lists are going to be very, very, very small. Take a zombie list, for instance. For those who don't know what a zombie list is, it is a vacant house that's also in pre-foreclosure. And in a given market, you might have none, or you might have 5 or 10. You're not going to have, even like a county, you can go somewhere like LA County or New York or Dallas, Atlanta. They're going to have no more than maybe 20 or 30 at one given time. It's a very, very, very small distress list. Now imagine your nosebleeds, your high audience. I say that's just a high equity list. Okay, you're not have hundreds of thousands of people that have just have a high equity with no other distress points. So that is the difference right there in the analogy of the seating arrangement. You want to be able to work a lot of leads, but you got to start with the most distress and build multiple small lists that add up to that amount that you're going to be working. So real quick, I want to pause and talk about your marketing here. And I know the audience here might have various different levels of experience, but if you haven't been doing this for years, if you don't have a team that's closing deals for you, if you're just starting out or you've been inconsistent, maybe you've been hiring some VAs, you've been trying multiple different marketing strategies, I want you to listen. Please stop all that stuff and just start with cold calling, okay? It's very, very important that you learn how to cold call yourself, okay? You can do bandit signs, driving for dollars, door knocking. That is all fine as well. But for your main level of volume of marketing, please do cold calling. You don't want to do SMS or RVM or direct mail or digital ads starting out, okay? They're all good ways to do things, but I'll explain. So why am I saying this, right? Well, number one, ringless voicemail, RVM, is illegal for cold outreach. Okay, you have to have written consent to send someone an RVM. This is across the entire country. Okay, it goes against, it breaks the TCPA, which is ran by the SEC. It's a federal law. You can get sued for lots of money. You can get fined for lots of money, and you can also possibly face jail time, although that's not really something that truly happens. SMS is actually illegal in multiple different states for cold outreach, and it's one of the fastest growing litigation niches. There are now, maybe you have seen this, where they're coming out with apps you can install on your phone. So if you're getting spam, that you can report it. It can automatically send out a cease and desist letter. You can start actually a lawsuit right from an app. They have lawyers now that are advertising on billboards and TV commercials and radio commercials that if you have received a text message that was unwarranted, that you never heard of the person before, to give them a call, that you can get money. Because you can, for one SMS, the person can get fined $1,500. And that's just one person, one phone number with one SMS. If you have a back and forth conversation on that same day, you can get charged up to a max of $10,000 per day for just one phone number. And that's one. And when it comes to SMS marketing, a lot of people are blasting out to thousands at a time. So you can see that can turn into a multi-million-dollar lawsuit in one day, not alone a week or a month or multiple months in a year that you're doing this. Direct mail is a fabulous way to market. It's a tried and true method, but it takes about 9 to 12 months of consistently mailing every month before you start really getting your traction, before you start getting your money coming in and you're making up for those costs. I kind of like to think of the analogy of like a CD, a bank CD. Okay, you're taking money and you're putting it in the bank and you're not seeing it for a year. Okay, and then when you see it in a year, you have a little bit of interest. That's kind of like what direct mail is. You got to constantly keep hammering the same list over and over again, month after month, and the results start coming in months 9 to 12. You start rolling in with more hot leads, warm leads coming in that you actually start making deals, and you can keep it moving. If you're new, you're not going to have the money for that. Direct mail can be a little bit expensive, especially because you need to also do volume with it. We really recommend that you start doing direct mail when you have a marketing budget about $5,000 per month. Now that can give or take a little bit depending on your market, on different strategies that are going on. But on average, about $5,000 a month is when you really want to start diving into doing direct mail marketing. So the benefits of cold calling, okay, number one is that you're building a powerful mindset. This is really, really important for you to be able to handle all the negativity that comes at you. You're being told to F off, you know, you're bothering people that while they're eating, whatever it might be, and they're going to take it out on you. They've had a bad day. They're going to take that negativity out on you. I'm sure we all have different experiences and stories, that we have from cold calling and being told, to go our merry way. But it's important to be able to handle that and shrug that negativity off. Also, it helps you develop the ability to think fast on your feet, to have comebacks and retorts. I've been told to F off many times and actually turn that into a deal. So it depends on how you handle that. It's hugely important because as an entrepreneur, you're going to handle lots of negativity. Think about just what's happened in the past 6 or 7 months when COVID happened. Think about how many small businesses got shut down and went out of business, and they're not coming back. A lot have. Many of them could have stayed in business. If they could have shrugged off that negativity, they could have pivoted quickly with their business model and transitioned to doing something online, doing something virtual. There are many different ways you can pivot and change things. But a lot of those business owners weren't trained in that. They were trained in one way of doing things, how they go about doing it. And they didn't think fast on their feet. They dwelled in the negativity of it, and then they're shut down, they're bankrupt, whatever it might be for the situation. So you never know what might happen in the future in real estate. Who knows in another few years, 5 years or 10 years, that something happens and they say it's illegal to wholesale, okay? And you have to be a realtor to wholesale. And you have a lot of you might be doing wholesale. That might be your number one strategy. And now you have to adjust, you have to pivot. You have to go get your real estate license to keep it going. Well, how long is it going to take you to do that? Are you going to, this might be your sole level of income. Can you survive while you're going through that period? What can you do? Okay, you have to handle that. You can't be weighed down by that negativity. You got to be able to brush it off and then come up with your plan, your point of attack to adjust. These are skill sets that serve you not just to get you deals right now, but for the length of your career as an entrepreneur. Next is building rapport. You can't build rapport over SMS. You can't build rapport with a piece of mail either. And building rapport allows you to truly connect with that potential seller. You need to connect with them so they can trust you. They can vibe with who you are, and you can make that connection. None of us make, unless we really just want something and we don't care. And we're just going like, oh, we're getting that. We don't care about the human involved who's helping us get that. We're going to sit here and we're going to work with a salesperson or whoever that we vibe with, that we feel comfortable with, that we don't feel is trying to scam us over. So that's really important. You learn how to develop your people skills, aka out of bullshit. Your rapport building skills, your sales skills. And that's a point right there that a lot of people I find in this business, they get their leads, they call, and they're looking, or even SMS, whatever it might be, they're looking for the unicorn, the person that raises their hand and says, I'm ready to sell now. I'm ready to sell now. Please give me a cash offer for under the value of my house. please, here's the keys, just take my house. And they're looking for that person. Well, how many of them exist, do you think, in your market or even across the country? You know, at any given month, very, 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 very few. Okay. Your ability to get deals is not finding, you know, having a race of 1 million wholesalers and investors trying to find that person. Your ability to get the deal is building rapport with someone, finding out what is going on in their life. What are their pain points? Where are they hurting at in their life? And also, what goals do they want to do? What things do they want to do with their life that they haven't been able to do? Okay, what pleasures are missing and what pain do they have? Your job is to uncover that and then convince them and show them that by you buying their house, putting their house under contract, and them getting whatever money they're getting for their house can solve that problem. A lot of these people don't know that they're in pre-foreclosure and they could sell their house instead of losing it and having that mess up their credit. People don't know they could sell their house as is. They think they need to fix it up and get a realtor. Many people don't realize that selling their house can solve many different issues that they have. So you have to uncover these things and connect the dots in their head. That's what a salesperson does. Also, you get the ability to record your calls so you can listen to them and become better. Okay. Any athlete, whether it's a football player, a baseball player, hockey, NBA, they watch themselves on film for the prior games. They see, what did I do good? What could I have done better? Of course, they also watch their opponent. So listening to your recordings and reviewing how you had conversations, how you handled things, maybe pointing out maybe where you think you lost somebody at, that allows you to sit here and say, okay, when this situation happens again, I'm gonna handle that differently now. It also allows you to, if you have a coach or a mentor, to let them listen to your recordings and give you feedback as well. And this can speed your development by months, even years. You can do custom dispositions. This is about really kind of keeping yourself organized with the cold calling. And that's really easy using a dialer software. So in custom dispositions, you're creating a label. So when you're done talking to somebody, you can label that as, okay, this is going to do not call. They told me to F off. They're not interested whatsoever. I'm going to put them on our do not call list so we don't bother them again. Or, you know, it's a bad number. And you're going to label that as bad number so that you don't dial out again. And then you have your other people that you've talked to. You weren't able to get in the negotiation right now, but you uncovered some levels of information, and you're going to want to follow up with them, you know, either in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, depending on what that level, that motivational level, what that pain level is. You can sit here and make a disposition 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. And that automatically organizes that for you. And that kind of leads into the custom rules. You can create a custom rule for each disposition. So that way, when you click 1 month follow-up, that call actually gets routed, and you're not calling that for 30 days. So in 30 days, you'll call that again. You don't have to sit here and make a note, try to remember, and then in a month of now, you forgot where you stuck the paper at that you need to call the person. Everything is nice and neatly organized in your dollar software. And let me cover that real quick. One thing I didn't actually put in this slide presentation here are a couple different dialing softwares that I recommend that you use. There are a bunch of different ones out there, but there are only a few that actually have the capabilities that I'm mentioning here that are actually also compliant as well. One is called 5-9. Okay, that's the number 5 spelled out, F-I-V-E, and then the number 9. Okay, I believe it's like 59.com if I'm not mistaken. Another one is called Zen Call or Zen Caller. That's X-E-N call. And a third one is called Call Tools. Okay, look at those 3 different dialing softwares. I highly recommend those 3. They're going to range between maybe $80 to $120, so about an average of $100 a month. But really, that is the only subscription that you need. You don't need to get subscriptions to all these other, different softwares out there that are advertised. When you're starting out, you want to keep your budget low. There are a lot of software out there that are great tools. They can be of value to you. But when you're starting out or or if you're trying to build consistency, if you've been in this game for a little while, but you're not consistent yet, eliminate all the junk fees because you don't need all that stuff. Spend money on your dollar and get quality leads with the skip tracing and cold call. Okay. Now, how many leads do you need? And that answer is as many as possible. But how do you like honestly calculate that? And that's simple. It's a two-part thing. It's what is your ability to work and your marketing budget. That equals your maximum lead potential. So when we say your ability to work, what do we mean by that? That is, how many hours can you put into this per week? Do you have a 9 to 5 or are you full-time doing this? Do you have a team? Do you have other people doing things for you as well? That adds, that's more capabilities. You got more people able to work and do tasks for you. So that ability to work, and then obviously your marketing budget is your marketing budget. I recommend that you count your marketing budget, your monthly marketing, for how much money you can spend per month for 6 months with no guarantee of deals. Okay, that might be 2, 3, 4, 500 for some of you. It could be 1,000 or 2,000 for some of you. It can be somewhere in between. It doesn't matter what it is. It matters that you isolate what that is. Okay, that's hugely important to build your strategy, to be consistent in this game, to build your business. You can't, if you have $1 million a month to spend, but you only have you working this business and you have 2 jobs, you don't have that much time to work. Okay, so that's going to limit like how many leads you can actually work. Reverse, if you have all the time, you can go full time in this. You don't have a job, you don't have a husband or wife or kids or anything else, responsibilities, and you can work on this from the time you wake to the time you sleep, but you have no money, then that's going to limit things. It is a balance between the two that we have to look at. In most markets, you're going to want to work or try to get to about 10,000 leads per month to generate consistent deals and be competitive. Now that's going to vary. Okay. Different areas, we're in North Carolina. I would say outside of like Mecklenburg County, you could probably deal with about 5,000 leads per month. But if you're doing anything virtual at all, if you're working like say in Atlanta or Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Miami, Dallas, all those areas are going to be like around 10,000, maybe even more. So you could, for most of the area where you guys are focused at right now, we could probably sit here and say 5,000 leads per month is what you want to be working. If you could do 10,000, that's even great. I'm not saying don't go higher. You always want to scale higher in your business. So how does this actually work when we're talking about, working these 10,000 leads or 5,000 leads? How do we do this? So look at the first month, and that's to say you don't have any leads already. Okay, you have it. Let's just use the 10,000 lead. That's your capacity. You can afford it. You can work it. Okay, so you take that number minus any follow-up leads that you might be working, and that equals the number of leads you need to buy. So the first month, saying you don't have any leads, so you don't have any follow-up leads, you're getting 10,000 leads for month 1. That's July. And in July, you work those 10,000 leads. You cold call your heart out, okay? And you can do 10,000 leads by working 20 hours per week, okay? That might sound crazy to some people. They may think, no way that's possible. But I'm telling you, if you cold call from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., something that degree Monday through Friday, you can go through 10,000 leads easily in a month. But now let's say, okay, you do that. Now it's August, we're in the second month. So you take that 10,000 lead capacity that you can work and you subtract the number of follow-ups. Because remember, you're going to have some of those calls that you had some of them that told you to F off and you put them on your DNC. You had others that were interested and you went instantly into your negotiations and setting appointments to work with them. Everybody else should be on a follow-up. It should be a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, or 6 month follow-up that you should be setting them for. Okay, so A lot of them will come to your 1 month follow-up. That's just say it is 6,000. If you have 6,000 leads that you're following up with in month 2 in August, then you subtract that from the 10,000, and the difference is 4,000. So at that month, you would only need to get 4,000 new fresh leads to add in. Okay, and if you keep working that strategy for 6 months by continuing to be consistent while following up on the leads that you're already working and adding in new fresh leads, I guarantee you, in 6 months working 20 hours a week, you will actually have deals made, consistent deals. Okay, it's not just going to be, oh, you have one in month 2, one in month 4, one in month 6. You're going to start, you might, everyone does a little differently. You might hit the jackpot and get 3 deals month 1, get nothing month 2, then start evening out and get 2 in month 3 and 3 in month 4, 2 in month 5, and you'll start getting consistent. Some people start out and they get nothing in month 1. Then they start getting 1 or 2 in month 2. So however it works for you beginning, in the beginning, you're going to be going through a learning curve. You're going to be making mistakes, and that's normal. But you're going to go through that process, and by the time you get to the 6 months, you're going to actually you're going to have consistent deals. It's just going to happen if you put that work in. I've never seen it not happen. The only time it hasn't happened is when people actually haven't put the work in. They took a week off. They stopped. They only called 10 hours instead of 20 hours. You know, if you don't put the work in, if you don't show up, you're not going to get your results. Let's see here. There we go. You know, if you cold call 20 hours per week for 6 months, you will have consistent deals coming in. You'll be ready to hire and train a team. You'll be in position to leave your 9 to 5 if that's your goal. If your goal is to leave your job and be a full-time investor, you're going to be in that position. You know, and you'll be able at that point in time to also be ready to add other advanced marketing methods in. That's when we can talk about, you know, getting a website, some good SEO, you know, maybe doing some custom audience ads with Facebook. All that's going to be better in about a year out. Maybe some limited direct mail, possibly, depending on how many deals you got, the money you've gotten back, put back into the business, or your successes at there. You can maybe do some limited direct mail, maybe only to like people in pre-foreclosure. That will probably be maybe 30 or 40 people a month that you can hit with direct mail, and you keep hitting that. Although it'll keep adding because you're going to keep hitting them until a resolution happens. So we'll add up to be over 100 in like maybe 3 to 4 months, but that still will keep your costs down. It's not thousands. And there are many other methods that you could possibly add on, even doing SMS more so as a follow-up. Once you talk to somebody and maybe someone that you haven't really found the pain point yet, someone that you know, doesn't have that much motivation, you can send in that maybe you put them on a 6-month follow-up. Maybe in month 2 or 3, you can automate an SMS to go to them if it's legal in the area that you're doing it in. So that I actually went through that rather quickly. It takes me a little bit longer. That is kind of like everything I had on this presentation here. I do have some, I'm not sure where we're at with time. How much time do we have, Roxana?
We're pretty flexible. You can go on if you want, or if you want to take 3 questions, if you want to take them, see where it leads.
Well, I'll go into real quick over compliance.
Sure.
And I think this is some important information. And then I'll go through and take any questions that are there. And please don't be shy for questions. Throw them in there. There are no dumb questions. Every question is valuable. So there are 5 states that you cannot do SMS marketing at all. So you want to be very mindful of that. Because although you might be focusing focusing in North Carolina, you must in the buyers have opted in, because people have to opt in to be able to receive a ringless voicemail. So if someone has opted in, if you have a buyers list that you have not just a list that you got emails for and the buyers don't know you. I'm talking about a buyers list where you have called them, you have talked to them, you have a relationship with them, that as a wholesaler, you can sit here and, you know, send a ringless voicemail to them saying, hey, I have a new deal on 123 Main Street, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet. I'm asking 85,000 for it, whatever, get back to me if you're interested. You could do something like that. That's what a ringless voicemail is. It's a pre-recorded message that you save, and then you upload a list of phone numbers, and then you schedule that pre-recorded voicemail out to those people, and it shows up on their phone as getting you have a voicemail alert. And sometimes it'll show as a missed call on their phone, but their phone normally never rings. It just goes automatically to their voicemail. For the past couple of years, it has been a very popular marketing strategy, just as a cold marketing strategy for people that they get leads list, they get them skip trace, and they send out the RVMs. But that now is illegal across the board in the United States. So yeah, any other follow-up questions to that, please throw them in there. But 5 states that you cannot do any SMS text messaging to at all. So you want to pay attention to this for any absentee owners that you might have, people that live in these states while owning a property in North Carolina. And that would be Texas, Louisiana, New Jersey, Arizona, and Wyoming. Those states you cannot send an SMS to without them giving you written express permission to do so. When it goes to everywhere else, when it comes to marketing, they're doing SMS marketing, there are a couple of different points that you have to do. One is that you have to scrub the numbers that you have against the DNC, the federal do not call list. Okay. And also some states have a state level do not call list. So if that person they're in North Carolina, if North Carolina has a state do not call list, has to be run against that. Or if that person is living in a different state while owning the property in North Carolina, whatever that phone number is, wherever that person is living, you have to check against that state as well. It's very, very important that if you do that. If they are on the do not call list, legally, you cannot call them, okay? Or SMS them, I mean. You must also maintain your own DNC list. This is for everyone that you market to, whether it is calling them, SMSing them, sending them direct mail, bandit signs, anything. Anytime any person says, don't call me again, don't message me again, don't contact me again, you have to have a list that you maintain that you put those people on. This is a requirement for actually any business that does any form of marketing. Okay, most businesses are actually not even aware of this at all, but you must maintain that. Also, you have to have a DNC policy, a do not call policy that you create. That policy is how does this happen? When someone notifies someone in your company that they don't want to be contacted anymore, what's the policy and procedure for getting them on there? Who do they need to contact? What application are you keeping this information on? However you're going about storing and working that, you got to put up policies and procedures. It has to be written out, easy to understand, and every employee who would possibly deal with any type of customer must be informed and trained on this. It must be updated. Their training on it must be updated every so many months so it stays fresh on their mind. Any company at any point in time can request, any customer can request a copy of your policy, your DNC policy. And if you fail to provide that, you can be fined. Let's see, other than that, you need to check state laws, okay? Every state, not all states do, but some states, it's actually going to be the majority of them, have telemarketing laws. And that means telemarketing is not just phone, it's also SMS. When it comes to the SEC and the TCPA, a phone call is a text, and a text is a call. And my dog wants to get on the presentation too. Say hi, Bear. Say hi to everybody. So it's important that you check your telemarketing laws in your state, because some of them will say, if you're going to be doing any type of telemarketing, you need to get a license from us. So you might have to pay $40 a year to get a license. Or it might be if you're doing over X amount, you need to get a license. So it's important that you check that as well. You can just simply Google the name of your state and telemarketing rules, telemarketing laws, anything to that degree, and it will pop up and you'll find that information. Other than that, when you're dealing with landlines, the only other important thing with them is that you also want to run your numbers against a do not call list. And if they're on the do not call list, you should not be calling them. Now, in this business, I want to talk real talk. And I'm telling you, you shouldn't do these things because that's against the law. However, in this business and outside of real estate, there are a lot of people that still call people on the do not call list. That's a risk decision that you have to make for yourself. I don't advise it. I advise you to follow it and do the right and follow the procedures and the laws as they're meant to be here, because you don't like to get spam calls and be bothered, then don't do it to other people, right? But if you are going to take that risk and you don't care and you're just you're desperate to get your money, get your first deal, make sure you're doing at least a litigator scrub. A litigator scrub basically takes your phone numbers and it scrubs it against all numbers that have been filed at any level of TCPA litigation. So that way, because there are a lot of people out here that wait for you to call them, wait for you to text them, and they'll purposely not answer. They go to voicemail, maybe even pick it up and talk to you, but they'll never say they give you permission. They'll never say anything. They won't tell you not to call them again. But their number will be on the DNC. And they'll build up the ammunition of the number of your calls and texts, then take you to court and sue you. There are also lawyers that actually sit here and put, they have numbers and they plant them for you to call, and they just wait. They get enough voicemails from it or SMSs, and then they just sue you themselves. So there is a whole niche market of making money off suing people that are SMSing and calling people on the DNC. So you definitely want to be mindful of that. That's about it for when it comes to the for everything here. So whatever questions are, please throw them at me.
All right, let me give you some questions here. What was the name of the third calling? That's Stefania Jeffries. If you want to clarify that a little bit, Stefania,
The third calling, maybe the dollar softwares.
Maybe, I don't know. It's all it says is what was the name of the third calling?
Well, if it's a dialing software, since I did have 3 of them, I'll just name them one more time. One was called Zen Call or Zen Caller. That's XEN call or caller. If you just type it in Google, it'll automatically correct it and find it. The other one is Call Tools, Call CALLTOOLS, and then 59 is the other one.
All right, marketing strategy numbers are impacted by population's density. This is Steve Hand's question. You used the 5,000 versus 10,000 leads in 20 hours, and the toggle appears to be simply population density. Is that correct?
To a certain degree, yes. The amount of population density is also going to be it's going to also reflect the percentage of how many people are going to be in a distressed place that you're going to be able to market to. Also going to reflect what's your competition level, how many other investors and wholesalers are there. They're going to be a lot more in, say, California than there is in North Carolina, but also the population is way bigger in California than it is in North Carolina. So there is a population definitely plays a role.
Makes sense. Garimesh Sharma is asking, what is the difference between skipped traced lead lists and skip tracing? Okay, so the skip trace lead lists on here basically are your leads. Like if you ever bought leads from, like, say, ListSource, or if you have a PropStream account and you downloaded leads, they don't have skip tracing. Skip tracing is actually giving you the phone numbers, emails, and other information, like maybe other addresses associated with the owner, and just basic contact information. That's what skip tracing is. So what you're seeing here is a sale that we're running where we'll give you the leads and we'll give you them already skip traced for the 10 cents per. And then skip tracing would be if you have your own leads that you downloaded from a software program, or you got Driving for Dollars or wherever it might be, and you took those leads and you have your owner name and the property address and the owner mailing address, and then you sent that into us
we'll find the phone numbers and emails and other contact information for you.
Steve Hand wants to know, is slide dial a ringless voicemail?
Yes. Slide dial is one that you kind of do one at a time. Then they have slide broadcast, which is the one that you can upload like a massive amount of lists to and send it out. And that is ringless voicemail, correct?
Mike Ollison's asking if you would repeat those 5 states that you can't text market in at all.
Sure. It is Texas, Louisiana, New Jersey, Arizona, and Wyoming.
And Veronica Gwynn wants to know, what about emails? Is that also illegal in those states?
Email, there is, I don't have the specifics on that. However, if you look up can spam is actually covers the spamming email law. It is, I could say, a little looser when it comes to fines and getting sued and stuff like that. I mean, I get people to find my email address and send me stuff all the time. Sometimes I wish I could sue them for a couple thousand just to get rid of them. But there are some laws that maybe you're not supposed to do that unless they actually, if you sign up for any like big time email like email blaster software, a lot of the big time ones, the little bit more expensive, but they're like the better ones, they will require proof that people have opted in, that you just didn't, scrape the internet for email addresses and then are then blasting these people. So you're supposed to have people give you the emails and opt in on that.
Right.
However,
contact and serve MailChimp
campaign, yeah, all of those kinds of contact, they will require proof normally. So there are some ways to get around that type of stuff. But yeah, you look up can spam for the exact legalities. I don't have that on the top of my head.
And we've talked about can spam at some meetings before. Some of y'all might recall. Mark Retchkemmer asks, what is the penalty for not scrubbing the phone numbers against the do not call list?
Well, again, if you get fined or sued, it can be $1,500 per text message up to in one day. So that one number, you have leading, Miss Smith, and you texted Miss Smith, and then she says, hello. And then you respond back, hi, how are you doing today? And she responds, fine, I'm good, how are you? And you go back and forth. You can, no matter, it was $1,500 for each one with a cap of $10,000 in one day. And that's just for one lead. So you could do the math. If you blast it out to 10,000 leads and you had 1,000 of them respond back, that adds up pretty quickly.
Ooh, sure does.
Yeah.
Mike Griffith asks, where do you go to do a litigation scrub?
I can tell you that we offer that. Shameless plug. Don't know any other companies off the top of my head that do offer it. Actually, no, I do know one. DNC Scrub. No, DNC.com. I'm sorry. DNC.com is one company independent from me. They actually have a DNC scrub and a litigation scrub. And then also my company does offer DNC for a penny per number and a litigator scrub at $0.015 per number.
Adama Malik asks, is there a minimum number we need to buy from you?
On there, we do, the minimum number we do is on the leads is orders of 500. So it's 500 or more. So 500 skip trace leads is only $50.
That's all I got, Roxanna.
Yes.
That's all.
All right. Thank you guys so much. If y'all got any questions, please refer back into the group and make sure you join on Facebook and post your questions. And we're going to post this slide. If you guys want to rewatch it, it's going to be listed on the site. If you got any questions or any suggestions for the next meeting, what you would like to learn, we are open for all open communications and suggestions. Please speak up, and thank you guys so much for coming tonight.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Stephen. What great information. Really, really good. It's so confusing. All these data companies, it is so confusing. So thanks for straightening out.
Yes, man, I've been getting tons of text from people asking to buy properties of mine that I just say, you know, this is highly illegal, and they don't answer anymore.
Oh, that's all you got to say to anybody? This is highly illegal. Even all the poo texts that you get.
And also, anyone that has any extra follow-up questions, if you think of things later, my calendar is on there. You can feel free. I have free calendar times that you can sign up and talk to me one-on-one if you want.
Great.
Cool. And everybody remember, like Roxana said, go to the Facebook networking page, send us an email at TREIAprojects@gmail.com, and we'll send you some more information so you too can make one of those cool member spotlight videos. We need some new blood in there. And then if you want to do a Who's Got What before any meeting, shoot us an email again at TREIAprojects@gmail.com. Just tell us which subgroup meeting you'd like to do your Who's Got What, and we will hook you up.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Well, have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, Stephen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care and be safe, everybody.